Every week, Ultimate Tennis Guru brings you fascinating stories from the world of tennis. This week's story is about Youssef Hossam, who got embroiled in match fixing. But was that all there was to it? Was this the story of match fixing or survival? A young tennis player banned for life, a prodigy who once stood on the brink of breaking through, now cast out forever. But what if this wasn't just about corruption? What if it was also about desperation? This is the story of Youssef Hossam. And maybe it's not as black and white as it seems. Born in Cairo in 1998, Youssef Hossam was one of Egypt's brightest tennis hope in years. He was smooth, explosive, and elegant on court. By the time he turned 18, he was already a top 10 junior in the world, brushing shoulders with names who'd soon become household stars. He played for Egypt in the Davis Cup. And didn't just play, he delivered. 9 wins out of 11 ties. He was the guy you called on when national pride was on the line. And by 2017, he'd cracked the top 300 in the ATP singles rankings, peaking at world number 291. He was doing it without any major federation backing, without wildcards to big tournaments, and without the luxury of a traveling coach most of the time. Just grinding through the futures and challenger circuit, like thousands of others chasing a dream. But in 2020, the dream turned into a nightmare. The Tennis Integrity Unit, the sport's watchdog for corruption, handed him a lifetime ban after what they called one of the most serious cases of match fixing in modern tennis. Between 2015 and 2019, Youssef Hossam was found guilty of 21 breaches of the Tennis Anti-Corruption Program. This included 8 counts of match fixing, 6 instances of facilitating gambling, 2 incidents of soliciting other players not to give their best efforts, 3 failures to report corrupt approaches, and 2 failures to cooperate with the TIU investigation. He wasn't just throwing matches. He was actively conspiring to fix results and manipulating betting outcomes, especially in the lower tiers of the sport, they said. The verdict was damning. The TIU stated, "As a result of his conviction, Mr. Hossam is now permanently excluded from competing in or attending any sanctioned tennis event." He was only 24. Let's be clear here. Match fixing is wrong. It damages the credibility of the sport, cheats fans and players, and undermines fair competition. But if you only focus on the headlines, you miss the systemic rot underneath. In an interview with Arab News, Hossam didn't deny the charges, but he offered a rare window into why it happened. "I didn't know any better," he said. "At that time, I needed the money just to survive on tour." And that's where the deeper problem begins. Outside of the top 150, professional tennis becomes a financial minefield. Prize money at the futures level can be as low as $15,000 for an entire tournament, split across players, taxes, and often paid in local currencies. Now factor in flights, accommodation, coaching fees, stringing costs, food and fitness expenses. And what you get is a system where players are forced to spend $2,000 to $3,000 a week to try and win maybe $300. Worse still, there's little federation support for players from some of the countries. No wild cards to ATP events, no sponsorship cushion, no infrastructure. In response to growing concerns about the financial sustainability of life on tour, the ATP finally took a significant step in 2024 with the launch of its baseline program. This initiative introduced a guaranteed minimum income for players ranked inside the top 250, with payouts ranging from $75,000 to $300,000, depending on ranking brackets. It also included injury protection and support for emerging players, a long overdue acknowledgement that the current system had failed too many. While critics argue it still doesn't go far enough, it's at least a start, a move towards recognizing that talent alone isn't enough to survive in professional tennis. For players like Hossam, who once hovered around world number 291 without a safety net, programs like this might have changed everything. But for him, the help came too late. So when a stranger offers $1,000 to throw a first-round futures match, for some players that isn't temptation. Alone, that's rent. The ban didn't just end Hossam's career, it shattered his identity. Tennis had been his life for over a decade, but now, with a lifetime ban hanging over him and no way to earn from the only thing he'd trained for, Hossam was staring at a void. And then came an even heavier blow. His father passed away not long after the ban was announced. Suddenly, he wasn't just banned, he was grieving and responsible for his family's future. With the tennis doors closed forever, Hossam pivoted. He began coaching local kids in Cairo, using his experience to give back to the game, hoping the next generation wouldn't make the mistakes he did. Then, something unexpected happened. He found padel. This sport, a mix of tennis and squash, was booming across Egypt and the Middle East. It offered new opportunities, competitive matches, paid events, even national representation. Hossam leaned in, and soon he was representing Egypt in international paddle competitions. He featured in the 2022 World Paddle Championships, helping them win a couple of matches. No longer ATP ranked, no longer on tennis tour, but still an athlete, a competitor, a survivor. So was this a story of match fixing or survival? The answer is, it was both. Yes, Youssef Hossam made terrible decisions. He broke rules. He betrayed his sport. But he was also a product of a system that rewards the very few and abandons the many. A system where talent can take you to the brink, but lack of money can push you over the edge. He's not the first player to fall prey to match fixing, and unless things change, he won't be the last. Because until tennis finds a way to sustain its lower tiers, the next Hossam is already out there. What do you think about this? Was this story about corruption or a cry for help? Let us know in the comments. Subscribe for more untold tennis stories, because the sport's biggest battles aren't always played on center court.